Have you ever thought about this? The very places we go to get better, what if they're actually making our planet sicker? Today, we're going to dive into a really crucial policy shift in the Philippines that's trying to help hospitals heal not just their patients, but the planet too.
You've probably heard this before, right? First, do no harm. It's been the bedrock of medical ethics for centuries. The Hippocratic Oath isn't just some old tradition, it's a profound promise, a moral compass for the entire medical profession.
But here's where it gets complicated in our modern world. What happens when the very act of healing contributes to a climate crisis that harms public health? It's a huge paradox, and it really challenges the core of that promise.
So let's get right into it. We're talking about a hidden cost of healing, and believe me, it has consequences for all of us. The scale of this issue is honestly kind of staggering. The global healthcare sector all by itself is responsible for 4.4% of the world's net greenhouse gas emissions. To put that in perspective, that's about 2 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent every single year. That is a massive environmental footprint from the very institutions designed to keep us healthy. It's a real wake-up call. And this dilemma gets even sharper in places like the Philippines. Why? Well, because the nation's power grid, the very lifeline for these hospitals, still relies heavily on fossil fuels. That just compounds the problem even more. Okay, so that's the problem. Pretty big, right? But where do we find the solution? Well, let's talk about a kind of prescription for the planet. This is where something called GEOP comes in. It stands for the Green Energy Option Program. It's a Philippine government initiative with a simple but really powerful idea. Give people a choice. Specifically, the choice to get their electricity directly from renewable energy suppliers. And this really captures the whole goal of the program: to empower a sustainable future by putting the choice for green energy right in the hands of consumers. It offers a direct path for places like hospitals to shrink their carbon footprint. But, it wasn't a perfect fix right from the start, especially for a sector that absolutely cannot afford even a single moment of downtime. And the numbers, well, they tell a pretty surprising story. Out of 852 total participants in the program across the whole country, only 16 of them were hospitals. 16. That's an incredibly low number, and it definitely raises a huge question. I mean, it begs the question, right? The need is so clear. So what was holding them back? Why weren't more hospitals jumping at this chance? It really came down to a fundamental mismatch. Think about it. Hospitals need constant, 24/7 power. They can't have the power go out, not even for a second, when you've got life-saving equipment running. But renewables like solar and wind, they're intermittent. The sun isn't always shining, the wind isn't always blowing. And that created a huge operational hurdle. But then there was a breakthrough, a key update to the policy that completely changed the game. So in response to these challenges, the Department of Energy stepped in. They signed and released some really crucial amendments to the GOEP rules, and these were designed specifically to bridge that energy gap for healthcare facilities. Let's break down the two most important changes. First, something called volume matching. This meant suppliers could now match a hospital's total monthly energy use, not second by second. That gave them so much more flexibility. The second key change was just as important. They lowered the barrier to entry. And how big was this change? Well, the participation threshold was literally cut in half. It dropped from a requirement of 100 kilowatts down to just 50. That was a massive shift. So what does this actually mean in the real world? It means the program is no longer just for big, major hospitals. It opens the door for smaller community clinics and even local barangay health centers to finally make the switch to clean energy. So, what does this all add up to? Let's zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture, the vision for a healthier future. This is the vision, right here. A future where our hospitals don't just treat illness, but they actively promote the health of our environment. A future where sustainability is just woven into the very fabric of healthcare. With these reforms, that whole first do no harm idea takes on a brand new meaning. Now, the very energy powering our hospitals can actually become part of the cure for patients and for the planet. This policy shift offers a real, tangible opportunity to line up healing with sustainability. The path is now clear, which leaves us with one final, hopeful question. Who's going to be next to make the switch?